I could make the easiest and the most obvious joke about this movie's title, but I only have one word to say. Wow. So, Civil War is a dystopian action thriller written and directed by Alex Garland. The film takes place in a what-if scenario if the United States was not only a divided nation, but if the United States was going through a second civil war. In the film, we follow a group of photojournalists who are portrayed by Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, and Kaylee Spaney as they are traveling from New York to Washington, D.C., and what is essentially the most horrific road trip movie possibly ever. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Civil War.
Excellent!
Alex Garland was a filmmaker that I believe tells very, very cool and very interesting stories, whether it's a sci-fi genre or, well, in terms of just dystopian work. Whenever he was making a movie called Civil War, but it was a film that takes place in a divided nation. Civil War is a movie that when you watch those trailers, it looks like it's going to be a film in a certain perspective that you're either going to be rooting for one side or the other, taking a very political stance. And that was my biggest worry, because for those of you who know me personally, I'm not a political guy whatsoever, and I'm going to try and keep this bit of this video very minimal as possible, because when it comes to political work, I stay as far away from that as possible. But nonetheless, I was curious to see this movie because of the what if scenario, because knowing that this movie is going to be following a group of journalists going across from New York to Washington, D.C., and essentially what is a nightmare scenario, given that this movie does give us a very specific vision of what the U.S. maybe, just maybe, could look like. And of course, again, knowing it was Alex Garland making it, I had to see this movie as soon as possible. This is a movie where I felt like I needed to really ponder my thoughts after I watched this movie, and especially because this movie is a very, very unforgettable viewing experience, and that's kind of one of the words or one of the sentences I could use to describe my viewing experience watching this movie. I've slept on this movie, I've gotten the camera up to record my video for you guys, and this movie, to say the least, guys, it left me speechless. I really liked this movie. In fact, I loved Civil War. All of the performances here in Civil War are fantastic, guys. Whether it's Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney, or of course, as y'all can imagine, Jesse Plemons, which I'll get into his scene later on, because believe me, there's a lot to get into. I'm going to try and condense this down as fast as I possibly can. Kirsten Dunst does such a phenomenal job of portraying a reporter, a photojournalist, that has seen, to say the least, has seen a lot of shit. And I wouldn't say that her character is desensitized to the stuff that she is seeing, because she's seen more than her fair share of disturbing imagery. The best way that I can describe her character is that she's just very, very hard. And she is clearly a veteran who has seen her fair share of disturbing crap and not letting it get to her, knowing that if she does go back into that mindset, that she will not be able to get the quote-unquote the perfect shot. Wagner Moura, I thought, did a great job of portraying Kirsten Dunst's colleague of the person that's trying to get her safely through this road trip. And I thought that Wagner Moura did a great job of banter between not only him and Kirsten Dunst, but also the banter between him and Kaylee Spaney, I thought was really nice. Kaylee Spaney, I also thought, did a wonderful job of portraying this reporter that has a lot of ambition, is very hungry. When she comes on this journey, we feel like that we're being positioned, we're seeing this movie through her character's perspective and the horrifying imagery. Kaylee Spaney, I thought, did a wonderful job of playing this ambitious person, but at the same time, the rookie that's seeing, you know, the shit as it's being presented to her as time goes on in this film. One more performance, or actually two more, that I must look up. Give me one second. Well, the one person I know the name of, but there is one performance from an actor who I thought did a wonderful job of playing this mentor. Give me one second. Stephen McKinley Henderson, I thought, did a wonderful job of portraying this mentor towards Kirsten Dunst's character, and he is the person that tries to lay some sort of empathy for what is going on. I thought he was such a great person for the source of empathy in this movie. The last performance that I must talk about, and even though this person is not in the movie too much, my God, the impact that Jesse Plemons leaves on this movie. Oh my God. That entire scene, guys, no joke, I didn't breathe for what it felt like an eternity, and I wasn't moving one bit. Like, I was glued to my seat, and my eyeballs were glued to the screen. Alex Garland directs the hell out of this movie. I mean, what Alex Garland has given to us is a movie that, sure, while it is a what-if scenario, the disturbing thing about this movie is that it feels like the closest thing to reality in all these dystopian movies that I have ever seen. While I definitely feel that maybe dystopian movies in the future that may come out might capture the setting of Civil War, at the same time, I truly feel that no other director, while they may make a dystopian movie that may kind of resemble Civil War, at the same time, one of the things I love about his directing, Alex Garland's directing this movie, is that the tone, the vision, and the overall vibe of this movie, I feel like, will not be captured in another film from another director. I strongly believe that. And there are certain images to which, by the way, Rob Hardy's cinematography of this movie is beautiful when it needs to be, absolutely, but it is also haunting. There are images of this movie that I can guarantee without a doubt will stay burned in my brain possibly forever. Alex Garland's Civil War presents a vision of what could be a possible enough scenario that really struck me as I was watching this as a possible real thing. What I was watching on that XD screen just last night felt shockingly and horrifyingly as close to real as I could possibly imagine. Civil War has not only a really good soundtrack for the most part, but also the film is accompanied with a haunting, and I mean a very haunting score. Something that I really appreciate about this movie is that Civil War does not take a single side in terms of political things or anything. I can guarantee that a lot of comments are going to ask people, okay, when it comes to the Civil War, which side does this movie take, the far left or the far right side? It takes no sides. Civil War takes the perspective of photojournalists that are just trying to do their job, going from one location to the next and capturing the story as they see through that lens of their camera. While the action sequences are beautifully done, some of my favorite moments of this movie are the conversations, the quieter moments that happen between the photojournalist crew. The quieter moments of this film, I guarantee you guys right now, are going to stay with me for a very long time. The third act of this movie left my jaw dropped.
Well, that's just fucking great!
There's only one issue I have with this movie. It's not really an issue, but it's more of a nitpick, and I do have one thing to say for others who just might be watching this movie right now. There was one particular music choice where it didn't really take me out of the film, but that was just something very odd to have chosen for this one scene. The next issue is an issue that I don't have with this movie, but it's an issue that I can see others having with this movie, and that is this: the third act. In particular, this particular sequence is a sequence that I loved, and I was left stunned by it, and I understood why this particular thing happened. It is a massive spoiler. I can't really mention it to you guys in this video. I can understand why some others would absolutely hate what was done in this sequence, but for me, left me stunned.
And here we go.
So overall, I have just one word to use to describe my thoughts on Civil War. Wow. This is a movie that I know that I'm not going to forget about anytime soon. Civil War is not only a horrifying movie to watch, but it's also so beautifully made and so beautifully done. And if this is really Alex Garland's last time behind the camera directing, then not only am I gonna miss the hell out of him, but he went out on a high note. I absolutely loved Civil War. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I am absolutely going to give Civil War a 5 out of 5. This movie was such an unforgettable experience, and I need to see it again. So comment down below and let me know, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this movie, guys. Did you like Civil War? Did you hate the film? Are you in between? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm also on Twitch. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Civil War. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't hit that notification bell for when this video goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I will see you all next time.